Hey guys, can you hear me okay? No? So I'm Justin Christensen. I'll be reading a little bit of fiction and poetry. But first I wanted to thank the creative writing faculty. Each one of you that I've encountered has helped me in my writing and made me realize that my writing has value. I also wanted to thank the English department. Learning theory and how to read critically has also helped my writing. And lastly, I wanted to specifically thank John Brandon, Gretchen Marquette, and Mary Rockcastle. You three have helped me create the work that I'm most proud of, and I'm forever grateful. So I'm going to start out with a short poem. It's a prose poem, and it should be pretty quick, but here and there. There it is, the wooden bridge in Champlin, near the clearing in the woods where we used to smoke weed, next to a rundown park with rusty swings, where an ex-girlfriend and I wrote our names in permanent marker up underneath the slide. And the bridge where I asked her out months earlier, over a dirty, slow-moving creek. And across the bridge, newly built, spotless, white, 4 or 5 story houses, and above that, the whole city, where 7 cops will show up to give you a speeding ticket, where lawnmowers churned out flat syllables into the summer air, where we sang brand new loudly while wandering drunk through the suburban streets, where my dad always said he'd finish the basement, but he never did, where we sat in circles, staring at bonfires, hoping we didn't have drinking problems. And now, years later and miles away, I think about that bridge and I want to go back to the days when weed didn't make me paranoid and my mind wasn't yet filled with scars. So now I'm going to read an excerpt from my final project and senior seminar. The story is about a young man named Larson. He's dealing with the loss of his sister, and he moves to San Francisco in the 1950s. He ends up getting mixed up with all the beat poets and the alcohol and drug-infused creativity of the time. And the excerpt that I'll be reading is a scene where he's at a party and things are starting to go downhill. And just for context, this occurs a few months after Allen Ginsberg first debuted Howl at the 6 Gallery reading. An hour later, Larson realizes that even from the beginning, the feeling in this party in an apartment above a bar whose name he doesn't know is different from the wild optimism that ran rampant at the 6 Gallery reading. The 6 Gallery reading was the beginning of something, the start of something new, the escape from the ghosts of Pennsylvania that he'd been looking for. But even though he's enjoying himself, things feel burnt out and dark. His heart beats fast, but his words stumble out of his mouth. His movement feels off, his brain muddy. He is talking to someone he doesn't know who is going on about suburban life and the American dream. The houses are wild, man. Shit, working so hard, digging on the jobs in the offices and paying for the same thing as everyone. Damn, that's it, isn't it? Larson nods his head, watching a man standing on top of a table, yelling slurred verses from a Bible he holds, while everyone watching howls with laughter. You gotta think, kid, you gotta think. I mean, if that's all there is, well, it ain't so bad here, the guy says. Larson can't understand what this person is saying. He walks away and steps over a man lying on the floor, laughing loudly and clutching his stomach. The couch feels so far away, but he needs to make it there. He needs to sit down and catch his breath, catch his words, catch the goddamn time. He passes someone vomiting into a potted plant and 2 men waltzing to no music in the kitchen. He passes the folding table where the man is yelling Bible verses. You, the man says, pointing at Larson. You. Larson stops and stares up at the man, realizing 2 things at exactly the same time. The man looks an awful lot like Mussolini, and Larson is still clutching his bottle of wine. Or is it a new bottle? He takes a long sip while staring at Mussolini, feeling slow and warm and weird and dark with none of the inspiration he has felt at past readings. Boy, Mussolini says, with due diligence you may be absolved. Hoots of laughter come from the man's admirers. Larson finishes the wine and drops the empty bottle on the floor before walking away. The man yells after him, words that Larson can't understand. He finally reaches the couch where he plops down, trying to steady the swirling mania of the room. He closes his eyes for a second and is back in Pennsylvania, a million miles away. Thank you.